Okay, so we had covered some of our follow-ups in our previous video. With our previous video on the egg cutter, this motion here, we had covered 3 follow-ups. One was taking him straight to the floor. The other was taking him straight to a knee, and the other was pulling him into a knee. Now, I'm going to get my lovely assistant over here. And we're going to sort of omit all the fancy stuff on how to get into this, okay? Whether it is this motion here, or whether it is this motion here, I'm ending up here, okay? Now, you could also say I'm ending up here, but for this episode, we are always just going to start from I have gotten a successful turn with the head and arm throw, with the exception of one of the options I give you. Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to briefly show you what I was talking about with the first ones. So with this motion here, the first follow-up we did was we pulled this straight to the ground, like so. The idea of pulling this straight to the ground is pretty obvious. You're taking their head to the ground. You have some pretty gnarly follow-ups. Again, I mentioned it in the other video. Don't do this, right? This is one of those that will get you in a lot of legal trouble. So don't do this. This is just something for you to see what the mindset was, how the game was played back in the day, right? This is now more for our own physicality and our own exploration through the arts. Physicality meaning this isn't exactly easy for everyone to do. So it's a good habit to get into as far as being able to squat down. Now, that was option 1. Option 2 was I plant a knee and I rip this onto it, okay? And you'll probably be able to see the whiplash of that bag into my knee. So there's the head, you rip the head into the knee and it bounces down. That was option 2. Option 3 was you have this back, you have just thrown them, whoop, and then you go whoop, and you pull this straight into the back of the head. Or let's say this part right here happens to be the lower back, drive that right into the lower back. So there's the 4 options that we had covered in our previous video. Brief recap is over. Now, from this position here, I mentioned that there was one that I was going to show you in transit. So the one in transit is once I hit my egg cutter, as this is moving through, okay, as I get this moving through, this is a perfect time for me to take my inside leg sweep, okay? Because what's happening here is if I get egg cuttered here and my neck starts to swing this way, I tend to try and step with this leg first, which leaves this one wide open. So that leg will get kicked out, okay? This works especially well if you are having a hard time getting these leg sweeps. This is an easy way to practice them, especially that inside one, because it is pretty prevalent. So you probably won't always get their complete back when you do this head and neck throw like this. I won't always end up with their back. But if I get them to take that step out, that kick is so much more available for me to take that inside release. So that is the first option I wanted you to get. Second option, again, now the rest of the video, everything is already their back. Their face is out here. So actually I'll turn the Red Gear logo out this way. So that way he's facing the wall, okay? So I just did my head and neck turn. The first one you've got here is pretty straightforward, and it can be any strikes, but from this range, elbows are pretty solid, right? So from this range I turn, I happen to have control of the neck like so, and I'm just gonna let go. They're most likely going to stand up straight because they don't like their neck being bent back like this. Where the head goes, the body follows, right? They don't like this. So the second they get reprieve from it, they stand upright. So this gets upright, and then you just drop your elbows in however you see fit, right? So it can be 1 or 2 elbows, it can be 4, depends on how the guy moves, right? These are not things you play around with. You're dropping elbows in on the back of somebody's neck. Do not do this. Do not do this. Am I clear? Okay, cool. So we're bringing this through, drop that shot in there, or drop that shot in there, drop that shot in there, or drop that shot in there, or whichever one you want to play with. So that is one option, is elbowing, okay? Now, we're gonna play the bottom of this red band here is the knee, okay? Because it pretty well lines up with my knee, so that's what we're going to play as, that this is this person's knee. So I turn them around, I've got this position here. Just like before where I pull into a knee, this time I'm gonna pull into a stomp, but that stomp goes to the back of their knee. So as you can see, it kind of folds the dummy. Okay? So the idea of this one is you're buckling them at the knee as you're ripping their neck backward. Okay? So that would be what we would call the yatuk, or the stomp at the back of the knee. Next one is something that I learned from Scotty as a different entry, but with this same sort of egg cutter approach, you can accomplish this hip toss. So this one I'm going to show first without the dummy. So what we're going to do here is you're going to get to it however you see fit, right? So we've got this shot in here, whatever we want to do, right? So I get my egg cutter throw, and once I do, my hands have to transition. So instead of it being an egg cutter throw to the back here, where I have my left hand on their left side and my right hand on their right side, my hands have to transition to the point where my right hand is now sort of hooked on their right side, and my left hand is inverted on their left side. So instead of it just being here, and I'm standing out with my hands like so, it has to be here, and you have to invert your own hands. So as I have my hands inverted, I hope that makes sense. I can't figure out how to demonstrate this without a partner and without multiple camera angles, and I don't have that right now. So this motion's coming in, however you see to get in there, right? I transition this, I pivot this arm, keeping it controlled, transition this arm, keeping it controlled, dig my butt in, and hip toss. And we'll do it this way. So we'll ride this one, hit this shot, connect here. Again, that should be a little bit more simultaneous. This scoops through, invert, invert, butt in, hip toss. So this is going to be a little bit awkward because I don't have a jaw to hold on to, but let's say I've got the back, okay? So I've just thrown and I have the back. I will now take my hands and I will get it inverted, and I will get it inverted, I get my butt in, and I hip toss. So the idea is butt in and hip toss. But again, the neck crank is just that. You're cranking from their jaw, not from a handle of a dummy here. So if I happen to have an inverted grip and an inverted grip, this motion here should be no problem. Now, I have to get my butt in low, drop that hip toss in there, and then you can follow up how we're gonna follow up. So there's 5 options for you, 5 more options on how to finish out from an egg cutter and a head to neck turning throw.